Who cares? It doesn't really matter to me.
That's how we're gonna start this, by the way.
I'm walking off of a pretty rough illness, actually. I was like bedridden for 2 days. It was really bad.
Are you feeling better?
Yes, thankfully.
Woo!
Not much congestion, like a little bit of congestion, but just pain. It just hurt.
Welcome to CalCast WebMD version. How do we normally begin these things? So we start with the intro and then what?
Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of CalCast. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button. The majority of my viewers...
No, I haven't uploaded in like 2 months, but I mean, hey, the Infernum streams are there. Those count, don't they?
Those are fun.
No, they don't.
Like 2 of those.
Well, they count in my heart. That's what matters. I guess like gonna be our first topic is I have finally played Infernum. Like, I know that Infernum was finished like a full year or so before I actually played it. But I finally played it, and I feel like I can finally talk about it a bit more, because like it's always been like such a topic that I've like skirted around just because I've never had proper experience with it. The only experience I ever had with it prior to my streams was that one Cold Heart no-hit I did like for April Fools.
Yeah, it looked like you enjoyed it quite a bit.
I did enjoy it for the most part. I think that Infernum is definitely, like, it successfully does what it's trying to do. It takes what Calamity already has and, like, completely reworks them into something much more complicated and much more interesting for, like, veteran players who have played the game several times already.
And it also has its own identity, so it's kind of split from the traditional, like, vanilla or, you know, modded bosses that you see, or at least for Calamity's sake. So it's still, like, a new experience by the looks of it.
Yeah, and now having finally played it, I think I can say I really do not like people comparing it to Malice, because like they are two completely different game modes with completely different objectives.
Thank you.
And like it's really comparing apples to oranges, honestly. It's not a fair comparison at all. That being said though, I mean I think it goes without saying that the Infernum bosses are definitely better designed than the Malice ones were.
That's a low bar, but, or I don't know, some of them were fun, but some of them were just a little bit.
Well, the Malice bosses weren't really designed.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't want to like go around this loop again because I've talked about this so much, but like I don't think Malice was that bad most of the time. But like I will say that the lows of Malice were infinitesimally worse than the lows of Infernum. Malice's lows, like Malice Profane Guardians before their rework, were literally the worst thing I've ever seen in Mod Terraria, period. On any mod, on any game mode, literally there's nothing worse than them. The Lord is hundreds of thousands of times more fair and fun than old Malice Profane Guardians.
Wow.
I'd say there were probably only about like 3-ish bosses that like I can truly say I didn't like in Infernum. Those being Cal Clone, Empress of Light, and Providence. Which I know are kind of hot takes because I know that a lot of people like Empress specifically. And I know Provi and Guardians are pretty polarizing. I really didn't like how Providence was like very dependent on knowing the exact order of attacks, like not necessarily knowing how to dodge each attack, needing to know the exact movement pattern in between attacks, otherwise you would get screwed over really hard. I really didn't like that about Infernum Providence. Because sometimes she would throw like a 200 plus damage spear just directly in your face with absolutely no telegraph to it, you just have to know she's gonna do it. And and honestly, like before I started Infernum, that's what I was fearing that Infernum was gonna be, where you need to know exactly what you're gonna do, otherwise you're gonna get completely screwed over. But to give Infernum credit, for the most part, it wasn't that. But like Providence and Empress of Light specifically, I'd say those were definitely the two. They symbolized what I feared Infernum was going to be at the start.
So an Undertale fan game, basically. That's that kind of design, you know. Well, this attack is fair if you know it's coming in order to know it, otherwise you're gonna die to it 5 times. I still need to play it myself, but...
If you're experienced with Calamity, I would definitely recommend it. I would recommend at least trying it. Well, someone finally beat Nameless Deity on Get Fixed Boy.
That's just not Calamity.
Yeah, it's an extension, but it is a...
I mean, I've literally retweeted fan art of Nameless Deity on the official account, so like... We like it. We think it's really cool.
Did you see the Nameless Deity cross-post into Geometry Dash when there's the Lombotomy shitpost that was just Nameless Deity? Yeah. If you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
it is hilarious.
The only GD related thing I saw is that somebody was working on like recreating Supreme Calamitas in GD. I saw that and retweeted it because I was like, what is this? You people are freaks.
GD 2.2 is ridiculous.
It's a game engine. They've turned it into Minecraft.
I've seen someone make like GTA 4 in it.
There's already so many like Calamity bosses just made as like normal Geometry Dash like boss fights, but now they're just like, yeah, we can make the entire base game a Calamity mod.
Yeah, if we want to start like on the actual topics, the first thing I have on the list is Deerclops finally got his AI, and I have actually fought Deerclops in Calamity, and I can say he isn't super great, honestly.
Unfortunately, there's not that much we can really do, because the normal boss is just so bad.
yeah. I mean, I've heard that like it's basically the same as vanilla except minus the Shadow Hand telefrags.
On that point, GP, what was your opinion on Infernum, Deerclops? Because, like, it's the same problem. Like, you have this boss, what do you do with it? Like, do you think it did better, or...?
Oh, yeah. Infernum definitely did better with Deerclops. I think Infernum Deerclops is pretty good. I wouldn't, like, call it, like, the pinnacle of Infernum or anything, but, like, it's definitely, like, I didn't, like, hate it, like, so that's a success in my book.
The Deerclops changes, I think, were less because we wanted to change... Originally, we just didn't want to touch it at all, but the Shadow Hand telefrags were just so patently unfair that we decided to make an alteration to that. I know Fab didn't want to redo the whole boss because he doesn't like that boss, and neither do I, so...
Right.
Yeah, but, like, his AI is just, like, so, like, brain-numbingly simple, like... I guess this kind of spoiler my next playthrough a little bit, but like I managed to beat him with no accessories, like crystalline only weapon, no armor, nothing. Like he just did not pose a threat at all. Like you can literally just keep running back and forth over and over and over again, and just like he can't do anything. Just keep going under him, and eventually you'll kill him. But like very, very underwhelming. Although I don't think I've ever fought vanilla Deerclops on tier. I have fought him and killed him once just for the achievement, but that was it.
It's probably pretty similar in that regards. Like the boss is just simple by nature, and with those certain restrictions, it's really hard to make something out of it. You got to get really creative if you really want to make it fair while being different. So
yeah.
And the challenge in that is obviously if you don't want to do it, then it's just not going to turn out good. Golden rule of creationism is just like if you don't really care about, I don't know, I made up a word. Enjoy it.
The eucalyptus sap, isn't that like really rare?
Yeah, I believe it's a 1 in 1,000. The only reason I know this is because I actually mentioned this last time.
I thought we were talking about Spiffo Flush. Oh, there's also Oricor down here because we killed Yharim.
No way.
Oh, right. Hey, you can play pinball with it and die. It was such a silly change. Like, it was such a spur-of-the-moment thing. We were talking about, like, auric rejection in the lore, and then they were like, what if the auric orb just actually, like, sent you flying if you touched it? And we were like, that...
I'm surprised how many people I see asking how you're supposed to get around it. Like, it's not that difficult to figure out.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, like, obviously, but, like, I'm just saying, it's just, I see a fair few number of people asking and counting me, like, how the hell are you supposed to dodge?
The very first thing someone did with it was make, like, this little, like, spring course where you just get, like, launched in various directions. It was very funny.
I was unironically thinking about maybe using Auric Orb for jumpless, but I ultimately decided against it just because it was...
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, just because I couldn't, like, come up with, like, a system that, like, would make it more practical than just using stairs. But yeah, it would have been funny to actually pull off. Okay, well, if we're talking about Yharim, apparently they also removed his telefragging. Like, he no longer does contact damage as soon as he teleports. He now waits until he actually starts charging.
Yeah.
Before doing that.
I suppose you could sort of think of that as, like, the genesis to the getting rid of contact damage thing, I guess.
Yeah, that inspired Fab to realize, hey, contact damage during stupid times is stupid.
Yeah, I think I agree with that a lot, honestly, because, you know, certain bosses always having contact damage makes sense, but, like, if everything always has contact damage, it just limits what you can do, especially in the end game. When and if we redo Dog later, you have to worry about he's this big thing, and it limits what you could do if he's always got contact damage, because then, like, you maybe couldn't have him do this cool attack because, oh, he takes up so much space that it would be unfair. And it's like, oh, well, that's not fun.
An idea using that concept could just be something as simple as like having Devourer of Gods go over your screen and then shoot projectiles towards the monitor, and that's essentially your hitbox. Mm-hmm. So it could be like aesthetically pleasing while also seeing that concept in play. So yeah, I would agree. There's a lot that you can do around it. It's still like a pretty big foundational change for bosses that already exist.
Bosses, like the way I interpret it is that like in situations where it doesn't make sense for it to do contact damage, it just doesn't. So like the only times that it matters is whenever like you know, the boss is idle or like doing some other attack that like, isn't contact damage related.
You're right, but I'm not speaking from I'm not speaking from a like logical standpoint. I'm more speaking from like a this will take some time to get used to type of standpoint.
There's quite a few Cal bosses that already didn't have contact damage, like Providence, and those are some of the best bosses in the mod.
But for bosses that are interchanging their contact damage with different patterns could be a little off-putting, and I don't know. It'll take the community some time to get used to, especially the people who call out no hits for cheating because they don't know when contact hitboxes are disabled.
I do think it's a good change, though.
I
liked
agree.
it.
Vanilla Moonlord is like one of the coolest bosses ever because it doesn't have contact damage. It's such a different feeling than like running away from the boss because you can't really run away from him much. Like, you can be just sitting right in the middle of his hitbox. But I mean, like, because it doesn't have contact damage, it makes it such a different fight. And I feel like that's what it affords you. Like, you can do a lot more with fights.
I think JFL needs bullets.
Guys, just a hunch.
Now, what makes you say that?
You think a lot of the post-Moonlord bosses, too. A lot of them don't really do contact damage except for, like, Poltergeist and, I guess, Dog.
I don't get what you mean when you say that though, because like most post-Moonlord bosses have contact damage. It's like literally just Providence.
Well, does SCal really? I mean, she does, but also, like, she's always, like, locked away from you, so... Same with XMX.
She does use the charges though. Like, I mean, I will admit though that like contact damage isn't like a big part of her fight, but like it's more relevant for Exos because like Thanatos can like circle you, but like contact damage does exist in like pretty much every single post-Moonlord fight except for Providence.
I guess what I mean is, like, it won't be, like, a super drastic change, I don't think. I think it's just a good change to, like, make things feel a little less unfair. It also helps a lot. Now, this wasn't obviously like the core reason why, but I do think it helps in multiplayer too. So when you have like a boss, say Empress of Light, you know, likes to dash off the screen for like a moment before reappearing, and in multiplayer you would just get like completely blindsided by that if you weren't the targeted player.
I mean, that's kind of the price you pay for playing multiplayer though.
We say well played multiplayer.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's the price we have to pay for making CalCast.
You know, it would be great, an aggro system that actually worked. I don't know, Red liked my tweet about that, so who knows, maybe.
About what, sorry?
About making multiplayer not janky or what?
Well, like, giving you an icon that shows who a boss is targeting.
Okay.
A la, like, any, like, RPG with aggro in it.
No, that'd be great.
That'd be nice. I'd also really like if, like, the aggro system wasn't just random and actually, like, you know those items that increase enemy aggro, like the flesh knuckles?
Yeah, flesh knuckles and
If they-
turtle armor or beetle armor, etc. Or like Shrumite making it less likely. Yeah.
I haven't been on top of the pulse of, like, every single minor Calamity change because I've been sick, so it's been a little hard to keep up with everything, but I'm trying to get back on it.
There haven't been any updates in like a month or so. Like,
Yeah,
any
there wasn't any
meaningful updates.
breaking changes for TML this month, so we didn't have to push out an update. Yeah, the
But
new February stable came out with no breaking changes. Like, holy cow, we don't have to do a monthly port. It's a Christmas miracle.
It's a Valentine's Day miracle.
Do you think there was a reason that it was better? Like, did the team mod devs not change as much? Or is it just like random chance? Like, this was just a one that didn't break anything?
It just probably didn't break anything.
Okay.
I don't think there's much to say on it. It's just kind of...
Yeah, so I guess since we're talking about updates, something that I've been curious about for a while now is like, what exactly is the like precedence for when updates are released? Like who is the one who decides that yeah, it's time for an update? Like, is it Fab just saying yeah, the update looks good, or do you guys have like a list of things that you want to get done before each update, and then when that list is done, then you release? Or is it something else?
For the, like, monthly TML based, you know, we have to update Calamity so the mod remains playable. There isn't any, like we need this done before now. We just put what's in, and what's not in, or not finished, not in. But for the major updates, we usually agree on what we want to do. And then as for the release date, we haven't decided the release date for the next big patch yet, but we have, like, a general idea.
So like it's like a consensus thing, like everyone agrees on a specific time frame roughly that you want to get something done, or what?
See, before they didn't. Why do I have adrenaline? They didn't really.
Because Perforator Hive is alive.
Oh,
Because GFL's fighting Perforators without us. Trade.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was about to ask the same question.
back in the old days, I'm not sure that was like the super most well communicated thing ever. Updates just sort of happened when they happened, but I think we all we talked about like the time frame for this update, like how long would be the maximum we'd want to work on this, so we don't like, set the scope too high. So I remember back like when there was that art contest for the crags, I think, and we were talking about adding like 7 sub biomes. I was like, okay, that's
A little too ambitious there.
it's like, I like it, that's awesome, really cool, maybe a little ambitious. Because people do burn out. I mean, we didn't get too much work done over the holidays because everybody was, holiday. Yeah, Temporal Sadness, that's right. This is a new debuff icon.
Looks like the debuff icons get a lot of resprites.
Especially now with them being visible when you apply them to enemies. People want them to look good now.
Yeah, and also because I would assume they're relatively easy to make as opposed to, say, a weapon or something.
Yeah, they're also really easy to make like objective improvements upon. Like for somebody's first submission in the art server, it's a super like safe thing to do. Because they submit it and we all look at it and we're all like, oh, well, duh. The other one that like is a really safe bet, like if you want to get something in the mod, make a sound effect.
Seriously.
Yeah, I know the current Lunar Incinerator himself, Moonburn, is kind of the sound designer for the mod right now, right?
Yeah, but
He's made a lot of sounds.
If like there's a boss or something in Calamity that uses like a default sound effect, like just make a cool sound effect for it. It's better than the default sound effect.
I think it depends. It needs to still be somewhat well designed, but yeah.
Yeah, but like that, that's the expectation, right? It doesn't have to be like the most outstanding, amazing thing ever if it's just better than like the default vanilla Terraria sound.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the sound effects sound good, but like they're kind of hard to hear. Like especially stuff like I know there's things like the twins, like when they eject their eyes, their irises or whatever. Like I know they make a sound effect, but like it's just so hard to hear because there's so many other sounds playing.
And I also know that at one point, the like whole XMX or like especially Thanatos like Death Beam or whatever was just made because Aqua was fucking around in FL Studio.
Seriously.
And they're cooler
And it
than
sounds
the
great.
vanilla sound effects.
What?
And it sounds cooler than the vanilla sound effects.
Correct.
God, could you imagine what Exos would have been like if it didn't have that hit sound and it just made the Terraria vanilla dink sound?
You're
Lame.
saying that like it didn't have that at some point for like a while.
I'm pretty sure it has always had like the deeper like kind of sound effect, but I don't quite remember. I wasn't super like around back then.
No, I think it did have the original sound effect for
I know
a while.
Escal did for the longest time.
True.
Yeah, well, yeah, back when she was,
Robot.
made out of metal.
Which honestly transitioned us nice into a different topic. The
Calamity Classic
Calamity
versions.
Classic, yes. And
Yeah.
allow me. No, hang on. I have something to share with this one. Hang on, just give me one moment. In preparation for Calamity Classic with CalCast today, I decided to make an ad, and I'm gonna quick read this out, okay? So, yeah. Do me a favor, GP. You can just cut out all of me explaining this, but we're just gonna go directly into this.
No, this is gonna be like as painful and awkward as possible.
Fuck you. All right.
Yeah, they're gonna have to listen to every single word you're saying right now, every single word I'm saying. You're only making it worse the longer you prolong this. It can be like a band-aid, you just gotta rip it off.
You keep interrupting me. Shut up. Are you? Fuck. Stop.
The world is watching, JFL.
Just give me a second.
And by the world, I mean like 3 people, because no one watches this.
Yeah, of course. Are you tired of XMX beating your ass? Are you annoyed at the constant name changes and fundamental crafting materials? Do you wish Ravager didn't exist? Well then I've got news for you. Introducing Calamity Mod Classic! Jump into an older version of Calamity that predates stress and satisfies nostalgia with a patch that brought you 6 post-Moonlord bosses. All the fan favorites like Providence oh my god. Why can't I?
No, please go on, please go on.
I hate script reading so much. I hate it. Why can't I do this? If this doesn't work out, I'm just gonna record it a different day and I'm gonna send you it and you can put it in post.
I'm leaving all of this in, by the way.
No, you're not.
No, you're
not. I removed your permission.
Too bad.
Did we fight Skeletron yet?
No, which is what I'm currently walking towards the dungeon to go
Yeah.
do.
Are you tired of XMX beating your ass? Are you annoyed by the constant name changes of fundamental crafting materials? Do you wish Ravager didn't exist? Well then I've got news for you. Introducing Calamity Classic! Jump into an older version of Calamity that predates stress and satisfies nostalgia with the patch that brought you 6 post-Moonlord bosses. All the fan favorites like Pervading Guardians and Celeste... Fuck.
Celeste, no way.
Yo, Celeste!
Jump into an older version of Calamity that predates stress and satisfies nostalgia with the patch that brought you 6 post-Moonlord bosses. All the fan favorites like Profane Guardians and Ceaseless Void have arrived! And let's not forget Providence's copyright. Relive the old days where Murasama was Red Arcalis and both the Yharim and Calamitous were absent of their arenas. Throw balance out the window with Summoner accessory stacking, unrestricted Burden Breaker, and dopamine-inducing stat bloat. Explore the newly...
Just keep going. Keep it together.
You got it.
Explore the newly added Calamity biome alongside the normal Terraria world you've known and loved. And all
Do you want me to just, like, take your script and just feed it into a text-to-speech machine and just have that?
That has like none of the funny in it, though. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
You can do it.
Okay, one more time. Explore the newly added Calamity biome alongside the normal Terraria world you've known and loved. And it's all accessible with Tmod Loader 1.4.4. And let's not forget the best part, Blue Desert Scourge! Download Calamity Mod Classic for free in the Calamity Mod Discord or on the Steam Workshop. And use code TRIANGLECRAGS for 10% off. Hope you enjoy and have a calamitous journey.
Woo! I'll buy 20.
Personally, I'm glad though that they are like releasing these like classic versions though, because I was only in this community like shortly before Old Duke was released, I believe, and like so there's like a lot of stuff I missed out on, like World Tour Arena SKL, and it's nice not needing to go super far out of your way to like download archaic T-Mod Loader versions and then like find the appropriate versions of Calamity, so you can just get it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of interest from like old like YouTube videos that blew up, like this is Calamity's oldest version, blah blah blah, and a lot of interest. And shout out who basically like did a lot of the work getting these ported over.
I'm kind of curious, what else do they have planned? Like, what other versions? Like, how high do they want to go with versions on this? Like, do they want to go to, like, maybe the update that introduced the Astral expansion or something?
There's a couple more planned, I know. Like, a handful more. I don't know the details because I forgot. I forgot.
They should at least go up to the one that re-adds Malice back.
Malice?
Yes, surely.
That, I was gonna say, Rust and Dust would probably be a good, like, patch to pinpoint.
That might be the last one, if we went up that high.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think of how long ago that was now, right?
I still loved a lot of those patches, though I will say that Rust and Dust, I would love to see the patch, like, right before it, just because it's the one that, that's changed, assuming Vortex, that's it. Oh, I was just gonna say, still a big fan of, like, very, blatantly obvious Razorblade Typhoon upgrade.
Personally, I can't wait for the next one because I think that might be the patch that has the double dog, and that's the version of Calamity I first played. So,
and my best guess is it's also a patch where stress exists, so it's probably going to be the one where I played as well.
If we have like a wiki dedicated to Calamity Classic, and we get the old the classic line, the best way to get rid of stress is to.
Actually, maybe that's a YouTube terms of service.
Yeah. Don't say it out loud. But yeah,
you look at the wiki and it's like, oh, why did Low Tier God write this?
But yeah, personally, I'm most interested in being able to fight old Yharim because I remember that like in my very first like 2 playthroughs, I absolutely detested Yharim. This was pre-Rust and Dust. I hated him so much, but like I kind of wonder if now with like all the playthroughs I've done and all the experience I have like no hitting, if I would still hate him as much.
I remember like old no hits used to really like enjoy old Yharim just because it was super consistent. Though I might be making that up.
Yeah, I know old no hitters usually like old Yharim.
I mean, my first Yharim no hit was 2 days after Rust and Dust released. I was the first Revengeance no hit, I think. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was back when Yharim had like the 3 little mini dashes. I remember that. Oh god. But if you like got the timing down, it was like freakishly consistent.
Yeah, that's in current classic.
I'm getting way too greedy with my sword, I swear.
Greedy nonsense. We're in multiplayer. There's no consequence.
Yep.
True, actually.
Oh, I love that we have these now. These aura items. Zyke did a lot of work on A lot of things, actually. He's been doing a lot of
Shout out
reworks.
Zyke, just generally.
Zyke and memes have been doing like a lot in terms of reworking the old items, and I think it's really cool. Got a couple coming out. I think Black Kraken was the one they just did, and it looks really cool. So
Yeah.
I love small changes like that.
I've seen a lot of like small weapon reworks from time to time in the no-hit server occasionally. By Zyke, it's not very frequent, but like whenever I do see it, it's just kind of one of those cool things where it's like, dang, this is like just a really cool concept, really well executed. It's cool to see.
Yeah, I like the variety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always think like a philosophy. I had a talk with Fab about this a while ago. That was like, you know, we should always have brain dead weapons, as I like to call them, because like maybe sometimes people like to turn their brains off and just have a sword that shoots a projectile.
Yeah, I think it's good to just have at least weapons for the people who want them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's good, just to have them.
Like, not every weapon has to be like a sick-ass rework, because sometimes...
Yeah, not everything has to be as complicated as Arc of the Cosmos.
Yeah,
but, like,
I mean, Arc and Biome Blade were both like just kind of basic beam swords way before the reworks, and now they're like so much more interesting. But you still have like basic beam swords if it's too, I know,
if it's too much,
complicated.
yeah, exactly.
Old Arc of the Cosmos was a no-hitter's dream, because it was just easy brain dead homing, easily get over, like, just slightly over minimum no-hit length to set to please the judges.
It was a summoner weapon. You just like turn your brain off and hold click.
And now if you want that, you just use Exoblade.
Oh, how the tides change.
It does have the right click, but if you just want something that just shoots a projectile, well, there you go.
Yeah, just make sure that not every single melee weapon has a dash. Thank you.
No, yeah, there's definitely like we make sure to keep like feature creep in consideration, so we don't want to like, you know, give a pre-hard mode weapon like ridiculous movement capabilities, or else they'll have it in the hotbar the entire game, like
Old Lord Claymore.
Yeah, the unnerfed version of Old Lord Claymore.
Chippy's couch.
I just want bones so I can make my void bag. It's crazy how many people don't know the void bag exists. It's like vanilla's best item ever.
Fun fact, I still haven't even bought... I know it exists, I know of it, but I have absolutely no idea what it does, and frankly, I don't
It's
really care.
just a second inventory. You can even like open it and shut it to not pick up stuff. You can use potions from it, like it's an alchemist NPC piggy bank.
I mean, I'm like JFL in that regard, where I don't care.
I never said I don't care. Don't speak for me.
I mean, in the sense of you don't care about QOL.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean that you didn't care specifically about Void Bag, just QOL.
I mean, but I like Void Bag. Void Bag's cool.
Yo, Cobalt Shield and Shadow Chi? Okay, I'm satisfied.
Goblin mode right here. Give me something. Actually, wait, no, let me just steal every single water candle and then inconvenience you all throughout the rest of the journey.
Both of you assuming we're ever gonna finish this?
Yeah, I'm really satisfied with the direction the mod has been heading in, because like, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, in like programmers' spare time, there's been a lot of like old weapon reworks and that kind of stuff while we're working on like the big guns, which has been going well, by the way. The next update has a lot of really, really cool stuff.
You mean like Sunken Sea, or do you mean like 2.0.4?
Like the next major like content update, the Sunken Sea update. I think a lot of people are gonna be really happy. If you've been following the Twitter account, you'll see I retweet Triangle's posts a lot, but we've made a lot. He's made like a lot of sprites for new mobs and stuff. They'll be populating it. It's gonna be very, very, very vibrant. You know, scope creep has sort of been avoided because at this point, I don't think we've added any new plans for like a while. It's pretty set in stone now. You don't like getting scope creep to infinity and the update never comes out, right? So it's not gonna come out soon, but it's making very steady progress, and that's good to see. I am personally, I ran around in some of the new world gen, and I was like, sheesh, you got ground into sad meat. You know, sad meat is what they used to call me back in high school.
No.
Oh, by the way, I was carrying all of JFL's platinum. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, the hop and chest is a town slime, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm ignoring it.
I have not played much of 4.4, so.
Yes, that is why I am ignoring that slime for eternity, because I don't care.
I'm actually doing my first playthrough in like 4 years, and I ran into that slime and I was like, wait, what the hell is this? And so I grabbed a key and I was like, wow, this is the most disappointing. Because I thought it was like a mimic or something, because like...
Yeah, you almost think it's like a mimic. Maybe they added a dungeon mimic so that you can get the drops that don't spawn.
No,
That
that's
would've been a good
exactly
change.
what I thought. Like, it's like, oh, it's Calamity adding a mimic in pre-hard mode that fits with... Yeah, it just like... I don't know, I justified it somehow. and then it was a slime.
And then your disappointment was immeasurable.
How do you guys feel about the, Did we talk about the new Murasama the last time?
No. That the Murasama change was after the last episode. That was like a nice reminder that there are people in this community that are such whiny crybabies.
And now all of them have shut up because we gave them a taste of the final product. What you have right now? Ooh. Oh, it's not even close to its final form. You'll see that when you see that.
But yeah, I still think people were like over-exaggerating so much when Murasama got tier shifted.
Oh my god.
Like it's insane how whiny some people were. Like it genuinely was. I think people just in general get like overly attached to like certain weapons.
People got mad at us when we changed it from dog to Yaron. And now we change it back to dog, and people got mad at us. It's like, make up your mind.
To be fair, that's very far apart in time, and so like the people are probably different.
That's true, yeah. Trust me, it being dog, you're gonna appreciate that a lot more when, you know, distortion is a thing. And, you know, there's a whole ass sub-dimension, and you can use the Murasama the entire time.
Dude, I cannot wait for distortion. Like, I feel like I've been hearing about that for like all 4 years I've been in the Terraria community, and like I'm still so hyped for it. Like, take your time, make it a good feature.
I'm really excited for it too, because I personally really hate the current state dog is in at the moment. Like, not to be rude, but I genuinely think dog is terrible at the moment.
Subworld good?
I don't think it's terrible, but it's like,
The problem with dog at the moment is that, like, he is not coherent as a fight at all. Like, so he's this massive, like, supposed to be mile-long serpent. This super intimidating, super, like, massive, overwhelming force. And he spends all his time shooting these tiny-ass little lasers at you, getting these random cheap shots.
yeah.
It just struggles thematically so hard.
Definitely still has remnants of being a destroyer reskin.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like, a majority of it is just Devourer of Gods is really underwhelming for what it currently does, and it's good that it's getting the love and care to be something greater and what it actually has a name for. So yeah.
Well, we teased the, you know, you've all seen the teaser of the fangs
Big
of
dog.
the new sprite and how absolutely huge he is, and of course the fight is going to be reworked. People were thinking like, oh, are you sure this is going to work with the current fight? Well, of course not! I know Fab has wanted to rework this boss for a really long time, so...
Yeah, like, there's one other tiny thing I wanted to mention about like the coherence thing. It's like he's not just not coherent like in terms of thematically, but like he's also not coherent as a fight just in general, because like he's a very mobility based fight where like you have to very rapidly dash back and forth like to dodge his his ramming attack, and then randomly he forces you to grind to a halt for his laser walls. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like it's not coherent on two fronts. But
I think a lot of us, well, I know Fab agrees because he doesn't like the current state of the fight that much.
Quick aside about Dog. GP, I'm curious, what were your opinions on Infernum Dog?
I think Infernum Dog is a perfect example of what Dog should be.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was thinking kind of when I designed it. Like, I was underwhelmed with what Dog did as like a serpent that eats people. Like, I felt like it had a lot of potential.
yeah, Dog I think in Infernum is exactly what the fight should be.
It won't be exactly that way because...
Not necessarily in base Calamity, because like it's far too aggressive for a base Calamity boss, but I just mean like
without
in the
a doubt,
sense of being
without a
a
doubt.
super aggressive worm that like actually feels like he's using himself as a weapon against you.
Yes, we definitely agree on that. I know Infernum Dog, like, that's not going to be how it's going to be in Cal.
Oh,
not that
I
way.
would not
It's not
expect
going to...
it
We
whatsoever.
can't... We're not requiring, like, a dash for a fight like that.
I just mean like I think it's Infernum nails what exactly I want in a dog fight, but like that obviously that's not the only way to do it, but I do think it's pretty good.
No, he's
pretty
going to
well
be using his
executed.
body a lot more as opposed to using his big size and having, like, kind of telegraphed, like, charge moves and, you know, that kind of stuff. Yep.
I think my favorite thing about Infernum Dog thematically is the final portal attack, where it actually feels like he's using his portals for something that isn't just a phase transition. Because, like, that feels the most, like, lore accurate, fitting to me as, like, an attack he would do. And I just really like the visual we made for it, too.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let us
Infernum
go.
Dog is a very good fight.
I have some ideas in my head. I need to actually, like, sketch them down and send them to Fab.
I remember Fab making an offhanded comment So it's just offhanded, so I'm not sure if I should take it too seriously. But he, like, something along the lines of, like, the rework dog might come before the distortion. Is that, like, something that might actually happen?
That might happen to, like, hold people over.
Yeah, I would appreciate that very much, because, like, I will stand by that I think dog is currently the worst base cow boss, because, like, at least with bosses that people don't commonly complain about, like Ravager, you can at least skip them if you don't like them very much. But, like, the thing is, dog is such a massive barrier. Like, I mean, unless you're very, very good at Yharim, you are forced to fight him and endure his flaws.
Well, we could do, like, an entire update that's just the dog update, and it would be, like, something that we could push out while, say, working on something bigger. So that was why Fab made that comment, because I had talked to him about that, like, what if we wanted to do this to hold people over?
Puppy update, summon Devourer of Gods with the puppy card.
Because, you know, the ultimate plan is that at one point or another, his fight, or at least part of it, will be in the Distortion, but that doesn't necessarily need to happen for the fight rework to be there. Like, you know, we would just add the change of dimension, and
I can assure you that I would be much appreciative of that, just because I really do not like him at the moment. But yeah, obviously, like, you can't do, like, if the fight is going to be heavily dependent on the Distortion at some point, like, obviously you can't fully implement that now.
I think you're entirely right. The fight needs some work right now, but I feel like also just as a, like, just starting out, dog is, like, I'd say maybe the most popular or the second most popular.
He's definitely the most popular boss. He is the face of the mod.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, if he has anything slightly underwhelming, it will really be complained about, because, like, people play Calamity expecting, because they hear about, like, dog and how cool the AI is, even if it was, like, 2 years ago. Like, I feel like there's a really high bar for dog fights, and so I think that's why it might have gotten a lot of reworks. It's just because since it's such an important fight and, like, popular fight, it feels like it should be a really fun and, like, thrilling one as well.
It needs to be good because of how important it is. That's
there you go.
The easier way of saying it.
You got it.
Yeah, that's another, like, tiny reason I say, like, dog more urgently needs more work than, say, Ravager.
Oh yeah, without it.
well, we have plans for Ravager too, but
I think I remember you saying last time that he wasn't going to be touched until it's time for him to be moved to the Profane Biome, which I think is fine, because, like, personally, I think Ravager is pretty easy, and like I said earlier, you can skip him if you don't like him.
he's probably going to end up relying a lot on where he is, so that will come when that comes.
Yeah.
Terraria, well, Calamity right now, Ravager really wants to be like an arena boss fight in a game like, I don't know, like Hollow Knight or something like that, where, you know, there's a set arena and he uses, like, I don't know, he'll jump off walls and stuff, like, I don't know, any Eggman boss fight in a Sonic game, you know, that kind of stuff. But we don't really have that.
That's what, like, weak petrification or whatever the winged flight time thing is trying to achieve, is, like, give that limited mobility to make the fight more interesting, because Ravager suffers from anything that can fly away from it, you know?
Yeah, but we just need to lean into that completely and, like, you know, make a completely closed area to fight him that's special to him. And
once you have an arena, you can get rid of, like, honestly, the pillar attacks. You can get rid of a lot of stuff that just exists to kind of mimic an arena, and that gives you a lot more freedom to, like, develop a good boss.
you can develop a much more standard video game boss.
The creative freedom that Ravager allows once it's within the environment of its concept, that benefits its concept rather, means that you can be way more free to just do what you want, and it will still end up like a good fight. I would say I'm still more excited for Devourer than the Ravager rework, mainly just because I don't mind Ravager in his current state. I acknowledge it's not great fundamentally, but
Like, he's not great, but, like, he's not super ultra terrible if you know how to fight him. Like, just know not to constantly be trying to run back and forth or you will die.
Right.
I will say Ravager sucked to no hit though.
Maybe in Defiled, but I don't know about outside Defiled.
I mean,
Wasn't
this
it,
was
like,
years ago when I was trying to no hit him, and it was just like, ugh.
yeah, I figured that was about the time that Rust and Dust came out, though, wasn't it? Like, wasn't that the worst point of Ravager's history, like, ever?
Yes, and I can say that because I had to judge a lot of Water Arena Defiled Ravager no-hits, and holy shit, those were funny and horrible at the same time.
Oh god, that brings back
Because
memories.
water lags you, so then you're always on 40 FPS, and then it's like laggy, slow Ravager, and it's just like, what the fuck am I watching at this point?
So, can you elaborate on why that actually was? Because this is more just curiosity for me. I don't actually know what was different about Ravager during R&D that made him so awful.
Oh my god, I don't frankly remember exactly what it was about Rust and Dust. I think it was just like some combination of factors that totally fucked up the AI and the like fighting experience, but I don't unfortunately remember like exactly what about the fight there was. I do remember one specific no-hit by, I don't know if any of you remember Demic, but I can link that. It's, I think, my favorite no-hit of all time just because of how bad it is. Let me grab it 1 second.
Underwater Ravager fight?
Yes, and it's also a world arena, and he always also falls straight down for the entire fight and submitted it at 40 FPS.
I saw that.
with
I
frame
actually
skip.
saw that one. Yeah, that was a
So it was like 2/3 speed Ravager falling straight down using a mage weapon that homes, and it was like, dog, you could have walked away from your computer. What are you doing?
I did something similar for Destroyer, actually. I remember
Seriously?
the falling strategy back when Daedalus Armor gave you the gravity change potion.
Oh my god, no. Dude, gravitation used to be so stupid. Like, it needed to be like outright banned, or like just heavily like, don't you dare use this. Because like, dude, Destroyer used to suffer from gravitation.
But it was like basically mandatory.
Yeah, no, it was, and it was so weird because like you couldn't DQ it because it was mandatory, but also it just invalidated. Like, it was so hard to have like a challenge, like a fight that actually challenged the player because it either was, I don't know, it was a weird time.
I'm just looting the entirety of hell, so if you guys want any gear, I've got it. I'm your merchant.
I want to go get Ball of Fungu.
I wanted
and I found Shadow
I wanted
Key,
to go
but
get Aerialite.
I don't have any diving gear though, so it's gonna be annoying.
Gotta go to the Ice Lab.
I also found the archive, by the way.
Ah, I love the archive. No more clearing out the entire dungeon to make a poltergeist arena.
By the way, I definitely think that the archive should spawn in the jungle on Get Fixed Boy, and then Vernal Pass should spawn in the dungeon.
Terrible.
Isn't that what GFB is all about, though?
True.
That would be kind of silly.
By the way, I have like 2 spare tally counters now, if you guys want tally counters.
I have one already, actually, so...
Do you know the reason why that the tally counter is one of the items we chose to be guaranteed?
Because it's the only post-Galtron one, or what?
It's because it was a recommendation from me because I had a playthrough where we were trying to make cell phones and we're post like all the bosses, and it's so hard to get a tally counter drop in like post Moonlord. It's so hard.
Well, that's when you world hop and then you get your thing there.
Yeah.
I've had to do it like post plant before, and it's just like abysmal because you're just like dying to all the like paladins and shit, and you're like, please just spawn some angry bones so I can kill them. And it's
But there's like no angry bones. You just get everything else.
Yes, it's so annoying.
And I was like, all right, 2 guaranteed items in the archive because we don't want to overdo it. Shadow Key because it's mandatory for progression. At least at the time it was in the Abyss. And tally counter. Those were my 2 suggestions, and that's what ended up sticking.
We were talking about Ravager earlier. Do we want to talk about Blood Pact not being absolute anus anymore?
Yes, isn't it great?
I don't know what it does, so, go ahead.
I shall spawn one in and show the audience what it does.
Yeah, Blood Pact and Core of the Blood
Yeah,
God
it
has
is.
been replaced.
But yeah, Blood Pact was reworked, so instead of being double HP, but that HP was basically paper that would have instantly evaporated upon getting crit, it now just gives 25% HP, no downside, and also more effective healing potions, which is nice.
Yeah, it's
like-
it went from shit tier to like holy shit tier.
Dude, that's heat.
I don't know if it's like that supremely OP, but like it definitely is good and definitely worth using.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of items that got really good, the Old Duke's Scales, you know, people still think it isn't good enough, which is crazy because, like, when I was testing it, I was like, this might be too good. But I'm kind of glad we didn't nerf it because we were thinking about it, and I was like, no. You know what? If it's OP, it's OP. But if it's not, then...
The thing is, too many people don't really want to deal with an item with a downside. And so if you are skilled enough and you are willing enough to take something with an active downside, given that you just mess up, reap the rewards of being good at the game. Like that, it's a rewarding accessory, so it should be powerful when it's used correctly.
It is really good, yeah. I liked it. Yeah, Blood Pact is good. Core of the Blood God has been changed to Chalice of the Blood God. How do you guys feel about that?
I heard that thing was also really, really broken, but I don't really know why.
I think it requires a specific build. So basically what it does is it turns, like whenever you get hit, instead of actually taking damage, it turns it into a debuff over time. And so like, yeah, so like if you get hit for 600 damage, it will turn that into a debuff that will like hurt you overall for 600 damage. And it's like, I believe it's really good if you have a regen build, I think.
Yeah, because then you can just negate the instant damage because the DOT so just cancels each other out.
Yeah, we didn't have a damage stacking anything in Terraria like that. So that's like a common MMO trope from what I'm aware of. So
Probably,
it was a kind of cool thing to implement. Because Core of the Blood God was just 3 accessories, right?
It was kind of just like stat increase, like boring stat increase. And don't get me wrong, that can be good as well, but just we have so many of those already, and it's nice to see an item that especially not many people use, like as a core defensive accessory, like, you know, Rampart, for example. To see that be changed to something else, like, it's one of those situations where it's accessory variety, and I'm a fan of that. And it also tailors more towards the regen build, as mentioned, because you can cancel it out more like that, and it encourages that type of playstyle, which we haven't had in other instances yet, really, besides just, like, tank builds, but, you know, defense damage exists. So, Core of the Blood God basically just takes defense damage and is just like, no.
Oh yeah, we can also talk about the fact that defense damage was buffed recently, wasn't it?
Well, buffed in... How do you want to classify it? I guess it's a buff.
Well, buff as in, like, the effect itself is more powerful.
Yeah, but the reason why was because there was, like, a bug where defense damage wasn't dropping as soon as you got hit. It took, like, a while to start dropping or something like that. I think it's better for the player after.
Really? Huh. That's interesting.
I believe, anyway. I'm not, like, super knowledgeable, but I think that was the case.
Either way, I still don't think that defense damage is really something that you need to worry about. Like, I've long said that, like, the only people who complain about defense damage are those who are trying to face tank or those who don't know how it works. Because, like, it doesn't really impact the fight all that much unless you're getting hit several times in a row.
Yes, unless you're specifically doing Luigi %.
Just to be clear, I wasn't complaining about it either. I was just kind of mentioning.
You're good.
I was just mentioning the defense damage.
I was just saying people in general who were complaining about it.
Okay.
Like, because like defense damage has never really been a major factor at all.
It just exists so that tanking accessories don't enable you to be able to stand still and win the game.
Yeah, it's a very background stat, and I think a lot of people don't even know about it nor care enough to kind of find out about it. And like, if you do find out about it one day, then you're just gonna figure out, okay, tank damage or tank builds aren't as effective, and that's kind of the end of the story there. So
it lets us actually design powerful defensive accessories without them just, you know, letting you stand still and win the game. As people still fundamentally misunderstand balancing on tank accessories, and I think that's very funny. People will still, to this day, post that damn clip of somebody stacking all their accessories in defense and a healing potion and surviving the Blunder Beam attack.
Yeah, we talked about this last time, actually.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, I don't want to go too in depth, but yeah.
I remember ranting about it last time. Stop it. I get it. I've seen the clip. You sacrificed every cooldown to win one engagement. Like, you know the boss has other moves, right?
No, clearly it only has one attack. And it only does it once every 90 seconds.
Do we want to now talk about the boss changes in general, specifically the pre-Hardmode ones that are currently in changelogs? Or...
Yes!
You sound excited by that.
Yeah, the main reason I'm actually excited about it is because these changes are indicating the idea that death mode is becoming more of just genuinely harder. And it's kind of the indication that we're getting more, like, boss reworks tailored towards just, like, making the mod difficult again.
I'm with you there, because, like, I remember that, like, when Malice was removed, Death was still very similar to Revengeance, and, like, one thing I was worried about was, like, what are we gonna do if we want, like, something actually hard? Because obviously Malice was actually, you know, really hard. But yeah, like, I do remember, I can't remember who exactly said it, but I do remember that someone said that, like, they were going to try to make death more distinct, like make it an actual challenge, like an actual step up from Revengeance.
That sounds like something Fab would say, because that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Fab, but yeah, I am very excited to see like Revengeance and Death finally diverging instead of Death basically just being Revengeance, except a tiny bit harder.
Also giving like bosses a little bit more of like a difficulty identity instead of just kind of giving again more like stat load. It's like it's seeing actual changes to the boss through the modes, right? Like for example, a big one being Queen Bee, because the difference between experts in like Revengeance and Death Mode Queen Bee really isn't all that noticeable currently. But if you look in the changelogs at GP, I'm sure you can edit these in later.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's just so many changelogs, it's hard to show them all on screen at once.
Oh, then don't show them all at once. Just like scroll through them, like slowly. I mean, I'm giving you plenty of time here by elaborating on this concept. Believe me, you have plenty of time to show them all on screen. You can put them on now. We have the time, GP. We have the time.
All right, but yeah, there's definitely a very long list of changes that's, you know, coming to Death Mode. The pre-hard mode bosses are the ones that are in changelogs right now, but I assume that later bosses will be getting them as well, right?
Probably, yeah. I know the focus right now is just to make the pre-hard mode ones a little bit more fun. Probably some of the mid-hard mode vanilla bosses as well, because obviously the mechanical bosses have been reworked as many times as people have fingers.
But yeah, one tiny thing that was worrying me though when I was reading through the changelog is that it does seem like that their stats are being bloated a fair bit as well. So Revengeance has the moniker of not being like Master Mode in the sense of just buffing enemy health and that's it. Obviously it does more, but it's creeping up to the point where these stats are now higher than Master for some bosses. Queen Bee, didn't she get like a 60% buff to her health?
I will agree with you. That's a little worrying in my book, but then again, I'm not a tester.
Is that for a rev or for death?
I'm pretty sure they're still sticking with the idea that death shouldn't buff health.
No matter what, though, Revengeance and Death, then, if Death is not changing HP values, is going to have the same HP values as Revengeance. Or will that not be the case?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I would assume they have the same because that's literally always been the way where Death has only ever just slightly buffed enemy damage, but never touched health.
Exactly, and that's why I'm trying to establish that that will be the same or changing, given that this is an overhaul to the kind of fundamental of what the modes are yet again. It's kind of one of those questions that needs to be asked, since obviously a big overhaul means big changes, and that's one of the things that I want to know if it will or won't.
I'm not 100% sure. I have played a couple of the boss reworks. I played King Slime, and I really, really like the Eye of Cthulhu changes. They play really, really well. I enjoyed the fight a lot, but I'm not super sure on the specifics because this has been a pretty recent thing, and I've been dead recently. So, but yeah, I fought the new Eye of Cthulhu, and I was like, wow. And I fought the new King Slime in Death Mode, and I was like, shit. It is hard. I think, Malice Mode left a lot of people on the team sour, right? But, Death Mode already exists, and we should do more with that.
Yeah, I think that was fair that, if Malice were to die, that at least Death should get more of an identity.
Mm-hmm.
Since they're just way too similar as it is right now, which, I mean, it hasn't really been a bad thing for the community anyways. I haven't seen anyone complaining, for the most part, that, Death and Rev are too similar. Granted, I am not looking for the criticism all that often.
I'm in Calmain a lot, and I can say that it does occasionally come up, but it's mainly one of the regulars talking about it rather than some rando coming in and saying, "Hey, why the hell is Rev so similar to Death?"
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where it's just people are kind of getting tired of it being the same and less about it being an actual genuine problem.
I haven't seen too many people care about it, but yeah, it's still, I think, a good thing that really needed to happen to have these nice distinct difficulties, these nice granular scales.
Oh, also, King Slime spawning spiked ice slimes in Death Mode is really, really funny.
And Jungle, don't forget Jungle.
Yeah.
All I can say is I'm very glad I started my next playthrough while King Slime was still easy like that, because I, spoiler alert I guess, but I killed King Slime with a falling star.
No
and
way.
if his health was higher, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Wait, hey guys, you want to see something funny? Wait, no, that's a bat. That's not funny.
What are you, the Joker? That's not funny. You're not worthy.
Oh no. Wait, what's that death message?
That's
the
Aragorn. Yeah.
Oh, that's really funny. Oh my god.
Have you ever died to plague?
Yeah, it says he didn't vaccinate or something like that.
I'm surprised nobody got super mad at us for that. Nobody got mad at us. They were like, Calamity mod gone woke.
Woke Calamity mod comes back.
They'll be really mad. Just don't look at what pronouns the bandit uses after they've been shimmered whenever that happens.
Is that actually happening?
We do have the shimmer NPCs. I believe the Cirrus one is completely done. I'm not sure if it's implemented or not, but the others have art and stuff.
There are a few minor ones the Providence range indicator, at what point you'll burn, but I don't know if it's really worth discussing much other than, yeah, it's there and it's nice.
Is that just in the changelogs, or is that actually in this mod now?
I'm fairly certain it's in the game.
All right, let's find
Like,
out.
The visual effect.
Oh, no. Oh.
Hang on. Providence. There we go. All right. Let's find out.
Where are you in the world? Oh, over by the Providence thing.
Yeah, I'm by Providence.
Whatever,
That's
I can take it.
Yeah, it's on my screen. Yeah.
Wait, that's so cool. Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, so you see some fire border now. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice QL thing.
No, but like actually, this is a really cool like visual. Like this is thumbnail material right here, buddy.
I mean, right now I have like a massive thermal ball around me, despite the fact I'm like super far away from it.
Same.
Not taking damage or anything, but
Yeah.
That's very fun.
Anyways, time for Providence to despawn. Time to die. All right, kill me. Murder me. Thank you.
watch she not despawn.
Yeah, that would be bad.
No, she's definitely still alive.
Okay, well.
Wait. No, she's teleporting
Oh wait,
over.
it's just Night Providence.
Oh no.
All right, cool.
Well, at least
Now
you can
what?
see now the border is blue. So, yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
oh, I'm taking so
I
much
hope
damage.
this isn't too.
Oh no.
There it goes. All right, cool.
Bronze one was incinerated. Yeah, so that's Providence.
We were talking last time about Dimensional Solar Artifact, and I was saying how terrible it was. And it's finally been buffed into something actually good. The old DSA Dimensional Solar Artifact, it was 25% additive damage, and it was absolutely terrible. It was not worth it at all unless you were no-hitting.
But guess what it is now, boys? It's multiplicative.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
It actually is risk versus reward. It is probably the most powerful offensive accessory in the entire game.
Yeah, and I'd say it's like reasonably balanced too, because like that is a pretty massive penalty to your DR, and obviously no hitters will use it, but like obviously you've said that the mod isn't balanced around no hitting, but like it's it's still very good.
But would you say is it an accessory that no hitters would use? Like, would people actually use it in their playthrough?
I mean, I imagine most wouldn't, but the thing is you can now use it. Like beforehand it was just completely and utterly unusable. Like if I saw someone using it in their loadout, I would just immediately tell them to take it off, because it is just like 25% additive damage is nothing post dog.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely not worth that massive negative 15% penalty to your DR. I don't, again, unless you're no hitting. But now it's like, I wouldn't recommend it if you're like super like not experienced with bosses, but like if you know what you're doing, it's usable.
All right,
But
what
yeah,
are
like
some other accessories that were changed?
So Dimensional Solar Effect, Yharim's Insignia. So before the Great Melee Speed nerf of the 1.4.4 port, like Yharim's Insignia was just completely dominated by Celestial Shell, and then after it was completely dominated by Badge of Bravery. Like Yharim's Insignia was just such a mediocre, constantly outclassed. There's no real reason to ever go for it over something else.
Right.
It was basically just something to slow you down from getting Elemental Gauntlet, but like that, now they've completely thrown out the whole context of it being a melee accessory, and it's now just a it's a mobility accessory, and a pretty good one at that.
Ascendant Insignia.
Yep.
It is also I believe it uses Soaring Insignia. So that we've changed Yharim's Insignia. The way it came about actually was, let's change the name of the item because it doesn't quite make sense in lore anymore. So then it was changed to Ascendant Insignia, and then we were like, wait, just make it a Soaring Insignia buff. What's funny to me is that it's still less powerful than the vanilla Soaring Insignia is.
Well, yeah, but like vanilla Soaring Insignia is like one of the most unbalanced things
That's
in
true.
base Terraria. So
Let's
I
go
mean,
into
it's
video
kind of a low
games.
bar.
Well,
I mean, it's just
Nameless
infinite
Deity
void.
Rod of Harmony ramp. That one's pretty good.
Well, I mean, Rod of Harmony is like not unbalanced because it's post game in vanilla, so who cares how strong it is?
That's fair. I just love the Get Fixed boy. It's so funny.
But the thing is that Soaring Insignia
Yeah.
isn't post game, what makes it like way stronger than he's like way too strong. If a Soaring Insignia wasn't post game, then it wouldn't be regarded as ridiculously overpowered as it currently is in vanilla.
Honestly, to me, vanilla Terraria has never felt like it needs to be like well tested. Well, tested well, but I feel like there's always just been broken things in vanilla Terraria, and that's kind of what you expect. Like you have Daedalus Stormbow, or you have like the lances, or you just always have something funny that you can do. And I feel like I've just always been okay with that. But like in Calamity, difficulty's taken so much more seriously because you want like Terraria isn't made for difficulty, whereas Calamity, at least originally, kind of was. So I am not worried whatsoever about like overpowered art stuff in vanilla. It feels just like part of the whimsy of vanilla.
Terraria by nature is a sandbox game, and which side tangent is kind of why I'm disappointed in some ways that like some of the items are nerfed in vanilla as well. Like Razorblade Typhoon was hilariously OP, and then it just got like basically gutted. I think it's still like okay now, but yeah. Same thing with like Daedalus Stormbow now has like a conditional function instead of just being good with other arrows, and stuff like that. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm not concerned about it. It's a sandbox game. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
If there's broken stuff, like, people can beat the
So
bosses
be it.
fast no matter what.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a huge fan of the whole it's a sandbox game as like a defense against any broken mechanic, honestly.
Well, then be glad you play Calamity.
Yeah. No, like, that's kind of what I was saying, like, just looking at the comparison of the two.
I mean, the Flamethrower Reworks are just kind of cool. The intent was to try and be as unique as possible, and I complimented Fab on that, and the rest of the team, though, obviously I don't know everyone who's there, so I just sent a message forward. But
What were some of the ones that got reworked?
basically all of them. Shade Thrower, Astral Blazer, I think it's called. The Photo Viscerator again, which was like way too loud for like a week. And then there was Cleansing Blaze, which is actually viable, which is hilarious. And then, I don't know why, but I always just say that whenever Cleansing Blaze is, like, actually good, I'm just surprised. It was one of those weapons that I kind of tied to as, like, when the Drayden update first came out, I was like, this weapon, it might actually be usable versus SCAL at some point, because back then it was, like, notoriously bad.
They also all look amazing.
Yeah, like, visually very, very pleasing, and also do damage, so they're worth using, and that's...
Have you seen the, not a flamethrower, but have you seen, what is it, the Magna Cannon, is it?
Oh, Opal Striker? No.
Opal Striker line, yeah. I thought those were really cool, because
Those do look cool.
they are references to Metroid. It's references to the Plasma Beam, Omega Beam, and Nova Beam from the Prime games. They even have the sounds. Don't tell Retro Studios that. That's okay. We've had Metroid sounds in the mod since like 2017. The Astral Infection hit sounds have been Super Metroid sound effects for God knows how long.
Oh, wait, seriously? I didn't know that. That's so funny.
Oh, yes, speaking of Metroid, that kind of reminds me of something. So, I was watching your GDQ run, Shay, and I was like really tempted to donate just to say, hey Shay, Yharim won. How would you have reacted to that?
I would have just said eventually. I'm glad you
Lame.
thank you for watching. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I did for the most part too, but at the same time I've never played Undertale, which is, I know is insulting, but
Bro.
yeah, I didn't want to spoil myself too much on the game, even though it was going by at like breakneck pace.
Bro has never played Undertale. You can't do this to me.
I was like mostly busy at the
Hi,
time,
King
but I did
Slime,
check
what's
out
up?
the stream for a bit, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Bro, I'm just trying to craft, man. And I show up and the paladins are here.
There appears to be a slightly more pressing issue at hand, though.
Clearly, that was your mistake for trying to craft when we were obviously fighting slime.
Oh, the
Like,
old
come on.
sprites. Soon.
Oh yeah, Magna Cannon, cool.
Yeah, it's the Omega Beam or the Phazon Beam, whatever you want to call it.
Oh my god, this thing does damage.
Really? Weapons do damage? What?
What?
It does good.
Oh, I didn't mean to pull that out.
Whoa, the new Magna Cannon's really strong.
I accidentally switched to that and he was on top of me and just died.
Wait, what did you switch to?
Unicorn on a stick.
No.
Alicorn on a stick.
Why do you still have it in your inventory?
I don't know. I never took it out.
Because it's funny.
And there goes the core. And he's gone. Off to fight another day.
Here's Opal Striker.
Oh my gosh, that sprite doesn't look right in multiplayer.
That's multiplayer for you?
Your gun is about 20 feet in front of you, and then the charging particle effect is even further in front of that.
Oh,
So stupid.
Oh no.
Oh, multiplayer.
Oh, multiplayer.
Never change multiplayer?
Just nothing. You can't do anything about that. Like, what do you do about that?
One thing I would change about these weapons though is that you can buffer the charge after the shot. So like I shoot and then I hold down M1 after that and it doesn't charge. I wish it would. I wish you could buffer the next attack.
I'm not sure if you can do that.
But like Overloaded Blaster is relevant, and this is what this does. This is technically a flamethrower.
You know something I like? We moved the information on rogue stealth off of the tooltip for every single armor, and instead just made stealth have a tooltip. Like if you hover over the stealth bar, and then you get more information there, so we don't have to explain it on every single rogue helmet.
Yeah, put it on the Auric helmet for someone who hasn't been using rogue the entire time, or stealth the entire time.
Yeah, people change classes occasionally. I know you're very against this, GP, but like I'm just saying it happens.
I mean, yeah, they do. I mean, I am an advocate for like only changing your class if you're like bored of it, like not changing it because you're struggling on a boss. Like PSA out there, if you're struggling on the boss, changing your class will not save you. Changing your class should be like the last thing that you want to do when fighting a boss.
I'm just trying to. I always go down to the Sunken Sea when I'm trying to get Obsidian or Hellstone because it feels like there's always some conflict with water and lava there.
For now. We've done a lot to get rid of that, so.
Get rid of what? Sorry?
Like, half of the Sunken Sea being lava. That started happening ever since the Underground Desert rework happened. Because it moved the Sunken Sea lower most of the time.
Did you say that World Gen is like the hardest thing to try to implement?
Yeah, well, none of us were like particularly amazing at World Gen. Dylan has been a godsend in that regard. Dude is so good at that. He's made a lot of really cool things.
JFL didn't even blow up the base this time. Or was such a good streak.
Character development.
Oh yeah, I tried to add Murasama, and then I was like, wait, I can't use it because we've killed the Aron on this world, but we haven't killed Dog.
That's really funny.
One other thing that we didn't mention about the like when we were talking about Murasama was the fact that they also removed the Easter egg, the Jetstream Sam Easter egg.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta say, I am very happy that they got rid of it. That way, like, if someone really wants to like have as little fun playing the game as possible, which is what you get when you do Jetstream Sam, they have to actually go out of their way to download a cheat mod instead of like just naming themselves that and just going.
It may return eventually.
I really hope it doesn't.
Not that specific form. The Easter egg, like the spirit of the Easter egg, but more in a way along the lines of the Midas Prime. Are you?
I know what gun you're talking about, and people talk about it along Calming, and I just have no idea what they're referring to, and I kind of just refuse to learn.
There is an Easter egg where if your name is V1, V2, or Mirage, which are characters from Ultra Kill, hitting the coin will cause like a little bit of Midos Prime boss theme to play, and then you can keep it going by continually hitting the coins.
That's really funny.
And it would be kind of perfect to do something like that for Murasama, considering if your name is Jetstream Sam and you start using it, it's just like, oh, I love this song.
Yeah, and then get copyright claimed.
Yeah, the copyright claim jump scare. That's the real Easter egg.
God, I forget this weapon looks broken in multiplayer.
It does. It looks so funny. You just have two.
And then I have like the sword coming out of my dick.
Yep, exactly that.
Wait,
you should really see what's happening on my screen. Wait, I can see.
Yeah, Bronze has the giant sword coming out of him. Yeah, we're jousting.
It's just like. Did you see that? Like the swords were like alternating. It was just going like up down up down.
Multiplayer is so. Oh my god, that looks even worse.
Wait, does Biome Blade look fucked?
Yeah, it does. It's like you're like weirdly like twirling it inside yourself.
The animations do not properly play, so the sword just
really funny.
Like spins crazy.
Dude, the Biome Blade rework is so fun. This is the first time I've experienced it, but I love just like picking the right, just messing around in biomes and finding the ones that you like the most.
I'm definitely glad when Ebon coded it that he left like detailed notes on what values to change for balancing, because looking at the thing's code, I'm just like, what the hell am I reading?
Yeah.
But there's like very clear like this value is this, and like okay, thank God. Thank God he left comments here, because if he didn't leave comments here, I would have been just like, what?
Actually, I did Infernum Deerclops only using this, so technically true melee, because like you're in that like little ring anyways, and it's like what the hell, might as well get DPS.
I think the ice biome, the pre-hard mode ice biome blade is like the best one by far.
Yeah, I like the purity is nice because it's a beam sword, but it also doesn't travel far at all, so can't really use it on much.
There's just nothing we could do. Like if you fix, it's like fighting the Hydra, right? If you fix an issue, 10,000 more appear.
If you're foolish enough to attempt to fix it, then your hubris is punished.
As far as I'm aware, that's on TML. They got shit to work on. god.
I found another thing.
Uh-oh.
But you see the little light orb here?
Mm-hmm.
So if I bring my cursor inwards,
The gun just starts freaking out.
Oh, that happens with every flamethrower. We're aware of that. That's actually just a vanilla Terraria problem. Fun fact. Like, if I pull out Photo Viscerator and do that right now, yeah, if you bring Photo Viscerator really close to you, it'll do the same thing, where you just, like...
oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's really funny. Oh my god. Dude, that's a light show. What the hell?
Yeah,
That was
we
amazing.
are aware of this.
Yeah, you guys having like a nice disco rave over
Yeah,
there?
it is just a vanilla Terraria, I think. Fun fact.
Well, are we about done then?
Probably,
Since
yeah.
we've reached that point where we're just cheating and game weapons and just screw around with them. So
And
I
just
think we're
talking
done
about
now.
that the
This is the
resprites
most
are
fun.
awesome.
Yeah, just talking about there's new content coming.
JFL, what are you doing? It's just like, why are you captivating the guy in the sphere of light? What did he do?
you see, he needs to see the power of Christ.
That's true.
Otherwise, he'll turn into a demon spawn in hell. So clearly, the guy needs to see the light.
Oh,
that kills
Ah!
something.
It kills NPCs!
It kills NPCs. Good to know. Forgot about that.
Wait, what does?
Oh, Rancor.
Rancor does, yeah.
I was curious if it would render in multiplayer.
Wait, kill the guy, kill the guy. Murder him.
Okay, hold up. Dude, you cannot see anything besides the smoke. I love how only the smoke particles render.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed.
Just kidding. No one will ever watches this part.
Guys, comment below if you have reached this part, and I'll definitely reply to those comments.
Yep, 100.
At this point, I won't.
I'm gonna hold him to this. I'm gonna like lock him in my basement for an entire year, and he better respond to every single person who comments on this video.
Can I please be out of the basement now, GP? It's been rough.
No.
It's so dark.
Too bad.
I haven't seen the sun
Too
in
bad,
2
don't care.
months.
Don't care. Well, that's it. Hope you all enjoyed it, and see you next time. Oh yeah, oh wait, before we actually end, that's one quick thing I wanted to mention. Completely slipped my mind until just now. There is no schedule for these videos, but we make them as there is more content to talk about. Like if this was on a fixed schedule, some of these episodes would be really goddamn boring because it's not like every month there's like consistent progress that we can report on. It's just like it just happens like in bursts. Like sometimes changelogs isn't active for like months at a time, and then randomly Fab will drop like 200 changelogs.
And something else that I just want to mention too is that like it's also not like super easy to just like be super like up to date on everything as well. So cut a little slack if we don't catch everything.
I mean, speak for yourself. Me and
I
Shay,
am.
like,
I
we
am speaking
follow
for
it.
myself.
No, you're speaking for me too. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I'm speaking for myself and Bronze. We don't keep up with this too much, so just like a grain of salt if like some topics are not expanded upon super well.
Well, hey, that's what me and Shay here are here for.
Oh, cool. Then I can blame you guys if it's boring. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
That's fine.
JFL, I haven't done a playthrough in 4 years until a month ago, so if that adds anything. I mean, I played the game. I watched enough no-hits to last a lifetime, but good God.
Okay, I'm ending my recording.
Same here. See ya, folks. Have a nice night.
Thank you all for watching, and see ya when we see ya. All right, take care. Bye.